Let's talk in this video about how to graph a line from slope-intercept form. Now, we have an equation here for a line, y equals 2x plus 1. This is actually equation for a line that I did. I found this equation in a previous video. So we're going to actually graph it here. So the question is, how in the world do you graph this? All right. Now, you can kind of go about it a couple of different ways. So let's check it out. So let me go ahead and draw a y-axis and an x-axis. Okay. So label the axes. All right. So remember, this is your slope. This is your y-intercept. Now, I like to start with the y-intercept because the y-intercept is where a line intercepts the y-axis. That's where your line touches the y-axis here. So at +1, this touches the y-axis. So literally, if this is 1 right here, you have a point right there. Okay. Now, using your slope, in the previous video, I talked about how your slope M is your rise over run. Since this is a slope of 2, the rise over run is 2 over 1. So using this y-intercept, we know that for every 2 we go up, we go over 1. So we'll go up 2, 1, 2, and then we go over 1. That's 1 point. Let me go ahead and label these here. 2, 3. Okay. So if we go up 2, we go over 1. If we go up 2, we go over 1. Okay, so you see what I mean? And we can construct a line. Ooh, that is very sloppy. We can construct a line from that. Okay. Now, so that's one way we can graph it. Again, well, all we did was we plotted the y-intercept, which is where the line touches the y-axis. Then we used the slope, and knowing that it's the rise over run, that means that from the y-intercept, we went up 2 and over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1. To plot point after point after point. Now, the other way that we can use this equation to graph a line is as follows. See what I knew that was going to happen, but it's okay. All right, so check this out. If you have an equation for a line, remember that if you plug in an input value, if you plug in an x, you'll get a y spit out, okay? So you can make a XY table. Oops, why did I do that? You can make an XY table. Let me put that long line here. And just pick some points that you want to graph. So say, for example, I want to know, okay, what is, so when X is 0, what is Y going to be? That means if I were to plug a 0 in here, so for X equals 0, erase this little tidbit here. Y is going to be equal to 2 and then sub in a 0 there, plus 1. So we're just trying to find what y is when x is equal to 0. That's all. So we plug in a 0 for x. So y is equal to 1. So there's a point on the line. You see that? Where x is equal to 0, there's our y-intercept again, okay? So that's something to keep in mind as well. Remember that wherever your x value is 0, that's where your y-intercept for a line is going to be. All right, anyhow, so what about when x is equal to 1? Y is going to be equal to 2 times 1 plus 1. So it's going to be 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1, so y is going to be equal to 3. So when x is 1, y is 3. What about, let's go in the other direction. What about x equals -1? Y is going to be equal to 2 times -1 plus 1. So 2 times -1 is -2. -2 plus 1, y equals -1. All right. So when x is -1, then y is -1. Okay. Let me see, make sure I did that right. Okay, good. So let's plot these points. So we already plotted 0, 1. Let's plot 1, 3. So that's 1 on the x axis and 3 on the y. And let's plot this other point here. You have -1 in the x direction and then -1 in the y direction. So that's right here. I hate that I have those overlapping, but. And if you notice, the rise over run is still 2 over 1. So you go up 1, 2, and over 1. Up 2 over 1. So it's just two different ways to graph a line using the slope-intercept form, okay? If you need clarification, if this video was helpful, comment below. Don't forget to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we do put out videos pretty regularly. So yeah, anyhow, I hope this helps.